We understand that Corruption Tori is organizing another town hall. What does this town hall tend to achieve?
First of all, what is Corruption Tori? For those that don't know, Corruption Tori is a program which is produced by Signature TV but supported by the MacArthur Foundation. Corruption Tori is one of our vehicles for the amplification of the fight against corruption in Nigeria. It's a weekly program that comes up on the network service of AIT and then some selected NTA local stations across the country. This is our second season. Our first season had lasted from 2019 to 2020. So the second season is started early this year. So part of activities to support the television program is the Corruption Tori Town Hall. And you must understand that Corruption Tori is a program which aims to break down the big language in the fight against anti-corruption. Break it down in understandable local languages. And the languages that we are using: Pidgin, Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo. We hope that in the years to come, we can bring in more local languages. The idea is to speak to the ordinary people about corruption in their language. You know, our catchphrase is corruption in your language. And then our objective is to ask people to follow us fight corruption. So the Corruption Tori Town Hall is what we do almost every quarter. We've done in a number of places. The last one we did in a local village in Enugu State. And this time we said, let's bring it to the local communities in Abuja, because every part of Nigeria you have local communities. So this town hall is to bring the conversation, the anti-corruption conversation, to the grassroots in Abuja. The idea is to talk to them directly, sit down with them, bring in the big names, bring in big organizations like the EFCC, the ICPC, our funders, MacArthur Foundation, other non-governmental and governmental agencies that are involved in the anti-corruption fight, to bring them with these local communities where they're using our local languages, talk about anti-corruption. What do they understand? Okay, every week we're on air on Corruption Tori. The town hall will offer us an opportunity to even ask people whether they understand what we are doing, whether this program we are doing, whether it's getting to them, whether it's making sense to them. You know, it's also an opportunity for them to tell us that, look, we would want if you add this and this to the program you do. It will offer them a big privilege of talking to, like, officers of the EFCC. What are you doing? How can we be part of what you're doing? That's what we intend will happen in Abuja. That's what has happened in a lot of other places. I remember the last Corruption Tori town hall that we did in Enugu State. You saw market women share the experiences about corruption. They talked about policemen. They talked about other practitioners who would take advantage. They also talked about the need for them at the grassroots level to say something where they see something and do something, you know. So that's the opportunity that we are all going to explore on Thursday, the 18th of November at the Labamba Junction Field in Mpape community in Abuja.
Okay, thank you very much. What activities have you lined up for this event?
Well, our activities are plenty. For instance, I told you that these women and men will participate in the conversation. So everybody's going to talk. Everybody will be given an opportunity. Tell us what you understand. What damage do you think that corruption is doing at your own local community? How do you contribute in the fight? Then we are going to listen to officials of MacArthur Foundation, for instance. They will tell us why they are spending millions of naira in Nigeria, for instance, fighting corruption, supporting organizations that are fighting corruption, boosting the capacity of media people to fight corruption, boosting the capacity of governmental agencies involved in the anti-corruption war to fight corruption. MacArthur will be talking about that. Other organizations that are involved in the anti-corruption fight in Nigeria will be there to explain what they do and find a way, a kind of synergy between them and these grassroots people that we communicate with every week, that we are now bringing to a physical arena where they are going to have opportunity of interacting with them. Then one of the things we have done in Corruption Story Season 2 is not only to talk about the, forgive my language, in quotes, the badness of corruption. We are not just going to talk about the damage that corruption is doing. We are not just going to amplify the directors in government agencies who have corruptly enriched themselves, or professionals who are taking bribe. That's not just what we are going to talk about. We are going to talk about that. But what we have done in Season 2 is to also identify what we call the corruption wings, anti-corruption wings. People that are doing things in different ways. People who their behavior, their conduct has shown that ordinary Nigerians have capacity to resist corruption. So if you have followed our program these past months, you find out that we, from time to time, we are highlighting the activities of Nigerians who have distinguished themselves in a particular way about fighting corruption. Not too long ago, we were in Kano, where we focused on 2 police officers and 1 individual who, through their conduct, had shown that Nigerians can stand up against corruption. They were offered ₦1 million and they said no. One went to an accident scene and saw ₦1 million. He didn't corner it. He brought it back to his superiors in the police headquarters, and that money found its way back to those whose relation had died. These are exemplary actions that shows us that corruption is not everybody is involved in it. In Anambra recently, just in the past 1 or 2 weeks, local women, resisted the temptation of being offered 5,000 each by a political party in order to circumvent the electoral process. Market women who, when they go to market to sell fish or sell gari, their profit for a day could be 1,000 naira. But because this anti-corruption message is permeating, they said no, we must vote our conscience, and they voted their conscience. So we have also singled them out for recognition. So we're going to recognize a number of people. Then in the local communities where some of us live, we have identified a number of people. For instance, in Mpape community where our office is situated, we are in Metama Extension, but Metama Extension is just a border community with Mpape community. We've identified a man who basically is a security man, but each time people come to take other people's land and they offer him money to be able to facilitate what they are doing, and he never did. There's been instances of him calling landowners to say somebody is trespassing on your land, when he could have taken maybe 100,000 and turned a blind eye. He would do the whistle blowing And we've seen people come here, recognize him, thank him, give him some money and all that. And we felt that that's a good Nigerian who is not going to profit from other people's misfortune. We've singled him out for recognition. We've also singled out a man in Kaduna State, and a keke rider, who a passenger had forgotten some money. We're going to single him out for recognition. He's coming all the way from Kaduna on Thursday. The woman, the Oka ladies, who Ebenebe women, one of their representatives is going to be here, and she is going to be recognized, and she will be taking that recognition on behalf of the thousands of women in that local community that said no to corruption and bribery. So that is part of what we are going to do. We are going to signpost these people to other Nigerians, because whatever happens there is going to be shown on television across all the stations where we syndicate our program, to tell them that we are holding up these Nigerians as role models, that Nigeria is not a basket case.
Okay, we understand that you chose puppet instead of citizen. Why did you choose puppet?
Because our target audience are the ordinary Nigerians, and they don't live in the city center. They don't live in Maitama. They don't even live in Maitama Extension, where we are based. They live in local communities like Mpape. A lot of them in Nasarawa State, a lot of them around here. They live in local communities. So that's why we are taking our town hall to the local community, a community field. You know, we're going to put canopies, make the place livable for that period, and bring these people. It's part of our intentional action to take the anti-corruption conversation to the local communities. And we can't leave that local community and be going to do it at the International Conference Center. Who are we going to be talking to if we take it to that place? Or we're going to take them to ask them to take transport or pay? So we're taking it to them. The people we have invited, for instance, we've invited primary schools, secondary school teachers, we've invited Okada riders, we have invited the market women, we have invited the town, cultural town unions like the Igbo community, the Tiv community, the Yoruba community, the Hausa community, the Bagi, the indigenous people here. We've invited them. They live here with us. We know them. So we are bringing that message. They are like a microcosm of our bigger audience. Like when we went to Achi or when we went to other town hall sites, we looked for the ordinary people. We have to find them. What we're actually saying is that Abuja is not just for the rich. There are also the ordinary people that need to hear this anti-corruption message, to know the damage that corruption is doing, not just to the federal government in Abuja or Nigerians as Nigeria, but to the local communities in Mpape where there's no pipe-borne water in the Federal Capital Territory. Why? They need to talk about it. That monies are made available, and some people charged with that responsibility don't exercise that responsibility. The monies are used for other things, misappropriated, and the people are suffering. The schools are in disrepair. You remember a story we did here about the local government. What's that local government? Buhari Area Council, where we saw schools that you won't imagine exist in the Federal Capital Territory. The roads. I remember an investigative report we did, which was expository. So we are taking it to the ordinary people so that they have a voice. We want to give them a voice in this debate about the damage corruption has done to us and the deprivations that they are suffering because corruption is holding sway in our country.
Okay, apart from the people you listed that will attend the event, do you have other people in mind that will still come?
Of course. I said something about bringing representatives of the EFCC, ICPC. I said something about bringing other grantees of MacArthur that are working in the corruption sector, in the anti-corruption sector. They are coming. Then we are hoping that the chairman of Buhari Area Council, for instance, may attend. The councillor in charge of our local community, we hope they will attend. In the process of the build-up to this event, we have gone to pay courtesy calls on local authorities like the divisional police authority in Pape. We went to pay visits. We've paid visits to the local chiefs or heads, in Pape community, to mobilize them, to let them know what we are doing. We've also identified some important people, opinion leaders. We have, in the process of getting ready for this, we've also invited people like that. We've also invited other people that are just interested in this work that we do. We hope that that the event will be well attended, but more importantly, that people will use the opportunity that event, that town hall will offer, which is being made possible by Signature TV and MacArthur Foundation, that they use the opportunity it will offer to focus on what our country can do to reduce corruption and spread the message that corruption is doing terrible things to our economy, to our well-being, and even to the way we think as Nigerians.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.